Okay. Good evening. So usually when I'm here, I don't take questions, and then some people stay after and ask me questions. So I want to give an opportunity for you to lead where this goes tonight. And just give an opportunity for questions. Just remember, my answers are always my answers. Comes from my experience. You have to have your own experience. And I always encourage you to be conscious enough to make good decisions for yourself, not just copy somebody else, right? So, any hands over here? Any hands over here? I was about to say, how come when I give a chance, nobody? Yes, sir.
So, can you kind of elaborate what you were kind of saying before? It's the internal side of footwork.
Elaborate what?
So
Just
you
that,
said, you
yeah.
know, the slower you go on your own, then it builds up more sensitivity.
That's internal side of that drill.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. So everything has an internal and an external, right? Yin, yang. This would be fast. This would be slow. They have the worst handwriting. Worst handwriting, better doctor. Is that how it works? That's what some tell me. This can be heavy. This can be light. So it's just, how many ways can you think about, right? And you ask, what did I mean by it? I don't even think I used those words, but you're not wrong. You're right. You interpret it that way. You're right. So they support each other, right? This side, let's say energy. This side spends energy, so energy goes down. This side energy can go up, right? So this is your qigong, circulating, blood flow, qi in blood, nutrients, oxygen feeding the cells, everything's going to work better. So you're going to feel better. This side is like when people do things like CrossFit or lots of hard running or exerting yourself really hard, you know. In some ways, the sprint versus long distance, but even long distance is still in this side, you know. It seems more relaxed than sprinting, but it's still spending too much. But we need to also spend, because when we use energy, then the body starts to build it up. It responds, you know. It's like they work on each other. You break down the body responds by building that part up. You know, think about it. Somebody does, and I'm not a proponent of doing curls, but it's an easy explanation. You know, curls, you grab a dumbbell and you go like this to make this muscle bigger. So what happens? You do a certain amount of reps and this starts to burn, right? It starts to feel like it's breaking down. The fatigue builds up. Actually, lactic acid builds up. Growth hormone is going to be promoted, and it's going to, growth hormone meaning to make it grow. It's going to respond by adding more size for that tissue. So your body responds to the demands you put on it. If you never try to lift anything this way, you know, whatever, lift things, you don't use these muscles with resistance, with some sort of challenge, then they're going to shrink and get worse. Your body, your brain doesn't send energy there. And so then it gets smaller. And those who are older probably noticed, you know, if you don't work out much, you're going to notice it much faster. But even now, you know, my daughter's very serious with softball. And I said, okay, the next step is to get her in tip-top shape, very, very strong, great condition. And the first day, you know, her body wasn't used to doing that, even 13 years old, right? So I tell her, imagine when this is easy. You completely changed. And then you're doing the same thing out there with your pitching, but her body's completely different. It's much stronger. And the stronger you are, the easier everything is. Okay? It's like you have this much liquid and this much cup. It doesn't work. Big cup. This ends up down here, right? Meaning plenty of room for more. You don't get tired so easily. Strength is a huge factor, and mobility is a huge factor, meaning if the body is naturally mobile, that all the parts of the body, I know I digressed off your question, but it's because for everybody to understand. Except I'll get there. When all the joints can move the way they're supposed to, the whole body circulation, all the systems work better. You know, your lymphatic system is how your body clears out all poisons and impurities. If you don't move, it doesn't work. You pump the poisons back into the bloodstream, and then it's sent through the body and out, you know, through kidneys or whatever. It gets separated through because you moved it. Otherwise, it sits there, and if it's something toxic, it can cause problems. Maybe cancer, something really serious, right? Okay, so strength and mobility to make things easier. Mobility is range of motion. So if you need to go here, but you can only go here, you're an injury waiting to happen. Okay, but if you can go here, your mobility here is easy. So it's the same concept. Mobility and strength both fit the same way. You want full mobility so your body can go through the range it needs, and you want more strength than you need to perform whatever task you have to perform, whether it's a job, bricklayer, somebody in a sport. Okay. Now, this same concept for skills, you want your body, when you go slower, you're not going to be exhausting yourself where the muscles become very tense and even your mind becomes very tense, right? First of all, speed comes from relaxation. When you can relax properly, you can go very fast. But when you go very fast and the body's not trained that way, your body gets tense. Do you notice that with partners? Yeah, you practice with a partner, or a beginner tries to go fast with something, their body's getting tense. You guys hear me okay?
Sir, the video and the audio is kind of cutting in and then you freeze a bit and then it goes back to normal again.
Mostly okay?
Mostly okay, but I think when you start moving fast, kind of you look like you're doing the Matrix kind of thing. It's like it freezes, let's go, and then it starts up again. It seems to be okay now.
All right, it might be the Wi-Fi. All right. What was the last thing I said? If a beginner tries to go fast too soon, they get tense. So how does the beginner get faster through time? So he's not a beginner. Go slow. When you go slow, your body can relax. When you go slow, you can focus more. Your brain can relax. You know, your thinking can relax. And you can feel more what you're doing. And then you take that and then you try to go a little faster, keeping that feeling. So in some ways, it's like you have these channels in the body, and let's say the chi is filling it, right? When you go slow, that's qigong. Full. The body fills. When the body fills, it's relaxed, it's open, it will last more, the muscles will last more, the muscles will take more, you will be stronger, and you will be more mobile. And then you'll be faster because of it. So we're fighting. If you want to get faster, go slower. That's really the, I don't want to say secret, but kind of like the secret. People think, go faster, faster, faster. Yes, you also have to go faster and faster. We have challenges to get how many times per second you can do certain techniques. But you'll never get the level that you need to get to pass if you don't first go slow to master all the parts, all the components. Right? And we talked about, because you've been working on that for a bit, all the transitions, right? How do I master each transition? I have to feel how my body can do that, so that ultimately, whatever those techniques are, it's coming from here. You know, the body's just going. So that's why, that's the physical part. And the mental part, when you go fast, how do you see the targets? If it's new to you, you don't. So that's why with your partner, defense, attack, whatever the technique you're doing. Defense, see the target, what's my closest weapon? So that what happens is, instead of competing with your partner, and a lot of people don't even realize they're competing. But I can see it. You don't even know you're doing it. And that's not just today, you guys, it's always, it's the history of martial arts. It's actually why one of the rules passed down from Wu Tian was never spar with somebody from another school. And the simple thing is because everybody wants theirs to be the best, so ego comes into the equation right away. So do you want to fight or do you want to spar? And if you have any character issues there, it's going to be trouble. It's just the history of martial arts. Everybody wants what they're doing to be the best. It's the nature of the game, so to speak, the nature of the beast. So now you go slow. Partner comes in. What do you see? Maybe you want to go this way, but this hand's closer. You have to think first. You have to think. You have to teach your body which one to use. If you're just trying to get the guy, you know, so you leave here feeling like you were better, you actually got worse. That's why the highest level martial arts destroy the ego, because it will transfer into every area of your life. If you can fight with somebody and maintain that no ego, assuming you have all the skills, you won't get in your own way and you will perform much better. I don't know if I told this before or not, but my daughter is making a bit of a name for herself, and there's a reason. Because of her martial arts background. Since a little girl, she learned. And you know, like my son, they grew up here and then they don't know any better. They don't know different, I should say. They don't know any different. I teach them how to relax, you breathe, right? How to relax, you breathe. So she learns how to pitch, right? I had no idea how that's done, and then I get her a coach and everything. But when somebody's in a game and there's the threat of the other team scoring, or maybe you hit somebody, or maybe you walk somebody, or maybe somebody got a hit off of you, good hit off of you. What happens next? Imagine if you understand baseball or softball, bases loaded, 3-2 count. How are you going to get that strike? How are you going to not walk that run in? This directly answers your question. You got to catch it. So she learned, and this is how she's getting known, like people, because people don't know this. You see it in professional, right? I say martial arts got into sports psychology because people trained it, and then they would teach their clients. And then you see it in professional sports. That's why I always appreciated the highest level when they had the most pressure. Who comes through with the most pressure, the most on the line? You watch how they. What is that? So how I taught her to be able to apply everything she's learning. You can't get up here and think. You have to do the exact opposite. She has to not think. So we teach her how to come up, take her time, breathe, feel the ground under her feet. This pitch is the only thing that matters. Not what happened before, not what might happen next. But this pitch, this moment, that's it. Just do your thing, let it go. And it's funny because teammates don't understand what she's doing. They see her running into the zone, and she is literally getting into the zone. Where she is just like, and then I'll be like, okay. Try to get her to look at them, and then she'll look and she'll smile. She'll curse at them a little bit under her breath because they're screwing her up and they don't know it. So I told her, you have to talk to them and explain what's going on. Because the reason why she's become unaffected by the situation is because of learning how to center herself and breathe. And it doesn't matter anytime. If the game's on the line, she's got to strike them out because of what she'll strike them out. It's crazy. I'm so impressed. I'm so proud. But it's the direct result of the martial arts practice, which is why you have to go slow and practice in turning. You have to get to where there's eventually no thinking. And then the speed is no problem when you already know the answer. First, you have to think, tell yourself what to do. And eventually you try harder, you try faster by yourself, you train it, right? Concepts, ideas, you do it all the time. So relaxed, getting the mind to relax, and then you see the answer, and then the answer becomes a reflex, and then you go faster and faster until ultimately you get out of your own way. And that's the lesson of my daughter with the softball. She got out of her own way. She learned how to get out of her own way. She is unaffected up there, and that's how a martial artist needs to be. Unaffected. Somebody jumps you, you're unaffected. You don't get scared like that. You don't get questioning like that. You do what you have to do, and then you even have compassion for the attacker because you don't take anything personally. That person needs something. That's why they attacked you. That's a whole different mentality. Lower level, the lower level has to use things like anger to not be a victim. Higher level doesn't need to do that because the response is automatic. Now, I'm going to give everybody a book that I learned. It was an interesting thing. So in college, I studied exercise physiology, and we had to take all the classes that physical education teachers took. Not all of them, but we had electives, right? Extra classes. So we had to actually do the sports. How to play them, how to teach them, right? How to coach them, whatever. So I took a tennis class. And the book for the class was The Inner Game of Tennis. Has anyone ever heard of that book? Yes? It's got nothing to do with tennis. So that teacher happened to be someone who understood the true, sports psychology at the higher level, which again is, in my opinion, from martial arts. It's about developing a reflex. So that was one of the things, like how I would teach my daughters, like, you got to read this little book here. It's a small book, but it's the concept of what's the difference between the gold medalist and the silver medalist in many cases. In many cases, the gold medalist isn't even better than the silver medalist, but that day they weren't. And it's mostly because they got out of their own way and their best came out in the moment of truth. And then others, they make a mistake, because maybe they came in thinking they're the best, right? Anybody ever do that sparring? I'm a higher rank, I'm more senior, and I got to show this guy. Your head is getting in the way. Instead of just seeing 2 arms and 2 legs and just training what I need to do, let the body respond. Let your partner create what you do. Life is like that, actually. Let the situation determine what you do. You can't force what you want on the situation. Respond appropriately. That is martial arts. Another question? Did that answer? You got it? No.
So I had an idea while you were talking, actually came to me while we were sparring. It's kind of, like, it's not fully formulated, but it's almost as if I'm saying to myself, in order to get beyond this level you're talking about to another level, it's almost as if you have to be willing to get beat up. You know, you have to like, let it happen, and then see what that feels like in order to kind of increase the learning. I mean, if you stand there all the time and say, "I'm never going to let it happen," then it really never does happen. Then we keep dumping or whatever. So it's just like, you know, taking the action you have to take, and that's it.
So you had a fairly tough background. I think we've spoken before, right? You've had your history of fights, whatever. You've been, you know, you've had situations. Yeah. So you know how to handle yourself, right? Pretty much. I mean, you don't want to go in the ring with Mike Tyson necessarily, but you know how to handle yourself. I'm just saying that can get in the way of learning. And that's the old concept of empty your cup. But, and Mr. Cunningham knows this very personally. Here's the senior. Here's the junior. Junior. If the senior is coming after the junior like this, the junior doesn't learn much. Senior has to come this way. Senior has to go, ideally, here. Do you understand that? The best partner is a chameleon. Completely adjust to their partner. The best partner, the best senior to a junior, the best, the junior thinks, oh, I almost got him. I'm almost better. I'm almost better than Mr. Cunningham. I got him. And they go home and tell their wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, I was that close. I almost had him. And then as the junior comes up here, then the senior works here. And the junior comes up here and the senior works here. And the junior's like, I almost got him. I'm almost as good as him. Almost. This is how we got to train. And the reason I say that is because if the senior goes this way, then just your maybe childlike instincts come out, schoolyard or something, you know what I mean? Kids fight, bullies, whatever. Those reflexes are going to come out because you're just protecting yourself. You feel threatened too much. And when you're over threatened, then this training goes out the window and you can forget the inner game of tennis. Yeah, the inner game, you're losing the inner game. Your body's going to do whatever it does, and you might be like a 5-year-old slapping his way out of a situation, you know. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about people. You will defend with what your body knows best. And it's not the training you've done here, for example. It's not the training you're doing. So this is very important, how we train with each other. The goal of the partner is to make your partner better. The goal of the partner is to make your partner better. I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to bring my daughter up again. Here's why. Yeah, because it all fits. So she was asked to play on a rec team, and she's on all these travel teams. She goes on a rec team. And the rec team is people who don't ever make the travel teams. You know, they don't make anything, but it's, you know, rec. Rec is just play for fun. So she's pitching batting practice, and nobody touches her. Just swing. 20 in a row. Everybody gets 20 pitches. Nobody just swing and miss. But why could it be good for her? she can work on all the things that she may be a little bit afraid to do when it matters. So she starts working on other pitches and just try to make a strike and almost let them hit it by doing maybe more change ups, more curveballs, whatever. So in other words, she was coming from here, not helping anybody. But if she plays around with other pitches and things, she'll be working more at the level maybe they can hit. If that makes sense. It's exactly that. When you're playing with someone you're so much better than, when the senior's so much better than the junior, what does the senior learn even? Nothing. So the senior, go back to the other question, slow down. Let the junior have a shot and you try to respond more with sensitivity. You make yourself have more trouble. You allow them, instead of dominating with the things that you know, back off and try maybe new things. Force yourself to be uncomfortable. Teach yourself not to look at targets, to see everything. You understand? Yeah, how do you close the door and how do you see a target without looking right there? You can, a senior can work on things because the junior should be less threatening. I used to love it when somebody would come at me harder in our classes, in our practices. There were times when Seafood Park would stop it. He thinks we're going to really fight. But I felt fine in here, you know, and I was just trying to deal with it. So to me, it was fun. I like it. I like someone challenging me like that. I get hit, my fault. I always feel like it's my fault. So, yeah, there was a time I came back from one of the camps because I was forcing a defense, trying to figure out this defense, and the guy kept trying harder, and he had cardboard thin gloves on, and I came home, I looked like a raccoon. Because I took shots, bang, he kept hitting me. And he said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, keep coming, keep coming." And instead of trying to defend some other way, which was not going to be difficult, it was not going to be difficult to defend another way. I was trying to make it this way, forcing myself. And it was not working very well. So it's a good learning experience. But it's like the kids' class tonight. I'm working with beginners that are going just for their white sash, and they learn basic inside defense and outside defense. And so I start coming at them, and I'm hitting them a little bit, nice and light, but I'm getting all this for inside. And come on, outside, slapping them in the head. And, you know, I'm not hurting them, but I could tell it was very new. Nobody's really challenging them like that. Okay. Because I'm very comfortable doing that, and I know instructors working with them are probably not comfortable. And it's like, for me, it's like play, and then they feel it's a bit like play, but I want them to also see that, well, you're not going to defend if I try harder too. If it's a little harder, what's going to happen? Because a lot of people defend like this. So I took the one big kid in the room, and I hit him here, and I said, "Does that hurt?" "Yeah, it kind of hurt." "Oh, that hurts more." "Oh, that hurts more." "She fool." "Well, why do you want to turn your head when it hurts more?" "Oh." You want real defense? You need your partner to give you real attacks. But it can't be overdoing it. And it can't be, you know, like the senior and the junior. The seniors in Bagua know how to trick you. Bagua's a lot about strategy. It's like sitting down with the chess master and they checkmate you in 3 moves or something. What just happened? Bagua is supposed to be like that. That highest level. It's supposed to just, you know, it's supposed to go back and forth trading. It's supposed to finish it fast. So if you do that with the junior learns nothing. Right? So it's the same kind of thing. So force yourself to do what you're learning so that it enhances your natural, probably, if you fought a bit growing up or whatever, you probably don't have a problem with bravery. You know what I mean? Where someone who never had any kind of real fights. Who was the one? Mike Tyson said that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Say again? Or everybody has a plan too. Yeah, but yeah, that's reality, you know? The real situation. But okay, that's physical fighting, true. How about your day-to-day life? You're fired. Kind of a punch in the mouth, isn't it? How do you handle it? So, my family, obviously, you know, we moved to Tennessee. We had everything set up there to make a living. Cost of living much lower also. My acupuncture license, supposed to be reciprocity, just it's like going for a driver's license, just going to get it. But whatever reason, because of COVID, whatever, when I applied in October, no, I applied last summer, around June, July. And then I had a full day planned with the clinic that we purchased from a retiring acupuncturist. And it was Friday before. The Monday I had a full schedule, all her patients, I was treating them. Friday, I get the notice. Okay, you're scheduled to meet in February 8th about your license. What? I got patients Monday. They want 3 months. That's a punch in the face. I'm thinking I gotta go work in the factory or something just to get by. Like survival. How do you respond? Yeah, no different than talking about sports before, you know, but okay. Person's like, is this real? But everybody gets hit in life. Today was our first daughter's birthday. You want to try punching them out? Try losing a 3-year-old, just short of 3 years old. So back in 2006, went through, you know, tough times. So that's today, May 20th, her birthday. That's an ongoing punch in the mouth. Up to the date. You know, it's not about the punch in the face, because everybody gets it. It's about how you respond to it. You get knocked down, get back up, and you go forward. That's what I teach the kids. Whenever we're teaching the kids perseverance. Fall down 8 times, stand up 9. No matter how many times you get knocked down. Because we always have this option. No matter how bad you want to say, why me? You want to complain, you want to cry, you want to drink, drugs, whatever you want to do. What you do now determines what's going to be your future. And conscious living knows this. Conscious living knows this. Because you can blame something that happened to you for as long as you want, and you suffer the rest of your life. And I don't just mean suffer because of that. I mean suffer because you're bringing more and more suffering. Think about it. You lose your health, what do you have? You lose, you know, you can't work because of your attitude or whatever. What do you have? You're making your life harder and harder. Marriages break up, whatever relationships fall apart, friendships, whatever, because your attitude, because your way, because you're not aware. You can't say, yeah, that happened to me. Everybody has that punch in the face. How do you respond? My last thing was going to be, where am I? Oh. My last thing was going to be the talk. If there were no questions, and you guys always have great questions, but I'll do this another time. But I just want to say one thing. Martial arts. Some think it's this, some think it's this. Who's right? This is what? Competition, black belts, trophies, maybe money, whatever. Beating others for success. This guy, know yourself. Respond well. Conquer ego. Completely different. You agree? Completely different. And those who have a hard time here because they're stuck here, won't get it. It won't help your life much. But I was very fortunate with teachers I've had. They taught this. The real reason to practice martial arts. Make your life better. All areas. So even going back to slowing down to learn how to fight better. When you slow down, you can sort of analyze, right? You can judge, you can think about what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. How many times do you sit down and do that with your life? What do I want? Where am I going? How am I spending my time? How am I spending my energy? How am I spending my money? How many times do you do that? To actually make a plan that helps direct your life in the direction for what you really want in life. Do you want better relationships? Do you want a better career? Do you want excellent health? Whatever it is you want, have you taken a clear look at your life and figured that out? And if you love your life just the way it is, more power to you. But a lot of people don't. And don't forget the way the world was turned on its head. How have you responded day to day? Oh, 15 days and then, oh, soon we'd be back to normal. And what if not? How are you going to deal with it? That's reality. And that's where your practice on this side. You're going to figure out you're going to be okay one way or another. Because you can't control all of that, but you can control what's in here. Let's go to meditation.
So